Good morning, my name is Bill Quigley. I am the E8 systems engineer covering the West Coast. Like most people in this room, I've been doing this a while. I most recently was at Dell EMC as part of the DSSD team. Prior to that, I was at Riverbed with Andy. I've worked at NetApp, Spinnaker Networks. In fact, I was just driving by the first Intel building where I installed an OSPEC system in 1993.
Second time in a week it's been brought up.
Yep.
Really? Who else?
Well, I didn't work there, but I know about it.
Okay.
I had one.
So I'm going to do a demo, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the box, the hardware. So we have one right over here. And, we were talking earlier, why do we lug a 70-pound piece of hardware into this meeting, right? Most vendors who come here...
hardware. Really, we do.
Well, we do. And most vendors who come here are going to bring this thing in here to show you all the custom stuff that they built, right? The ASICs, the FPGAs, whatever else they might have built. We didn't actually build anything for this, right? This is an off-the-shelf, more or less, piece of hardware, right? You could buy this and put it in your basement if you want from the same vendor that we buy it from. 2 sockets. These are the 100 gig NICs. This and its partner just slides into the back of the box. I started with the back. I should have started with the front. Here's the 24 drive bays. We're using the new Wonder Woman invisible drives in this model.
It's the Israeli connection.
Yeah. 2U chassis, dual power supplies that you can see in the back if you want, redundant fans, 2 controllers. Here are the data ports in controller A and controller B, active HA on the controllers. So the drives are all dual ported, so any controller can get to any drive.
And that's dual redundant management ports. That's so nice to see.
Great.
Could you just go back a slide for me 1 second? Lovely, thank you.
So let's move into the demo. So the demo is going to be part live and part Memorex, because the recorded part of the demo is where we show the real performance. The system that I have to do the live demo is a 1U system. It's a little bit limited in performance. But on the demo system for the recorded part, actually it's about the same for both. We got the D24 appliance, which we already talked about. Mentioned all of that stuff. Got a Cisco 100 gigabit Ethernet switch that's capable of supporting
It's RAID 6, right?
RDMA.
What's the set? Is it 22 plus 2? Is it?
In the demo, it's 22 plus 2, yeah. And then we have the host servers. Now, I'm going to use just 2 hosts for my live demo. In the recorded part, you'll see 16 hosts. They're just super micros running CentOS. They've got our agent on them. And then they've got these cool 4-into-1 cables. So they go into a 100 gig port in the switch side, and it breaks it down into 4 25 gig ports. So with no further ado, let's take a look at a real system.
Like Howard's home network.
When you configure a volume and map it to a host, it's just standard list block command. You can see E8B0. It just looks like any other disk when it shows up. So you can configure it as a ext4 or some other file system. As we mentioned before, you can make it part of a clustered file system. So I'm just going to run FIO on a couple of these hosts and start it up on 2 of them. And then we'll go over to our GUI, and I'll show you some of the things that we're doing here. Okay, so the first thing you get when you go into the GUI is their performance dashboard. So you can see, I should have started them. You can see that little blip, so I should have started them further apart. So the first one, this is 1,000 IOPS. So the first host got up to about 1 million IOPS, and the second host here is up to a little over 2 million IOPS. And then, of course, on the dashboard, you can go back as far as you want. In performance, we have all the latest events. Fortunately, nothing really exciting happening. If you look down the bottom, you can see the total amount of storage available, as well as the amount that you used. And you can see the number of hosts, number of volumes, connections.
It's all thick provision, yeah? Or is it thin?
Yes.
Correct.
No thin yet.
Correct.
Not yet.
So now I'll just show you a couple of other fun things about the GUI. We can go into the system. You can see this is our 1U 10 drive system. We can click on any one of these drives to see the drive status and other information. We can see the state of all the data ports and the management ports. We can click down here. We can see the 2 hosts that are connected. If we click on any of the hosts, we can see the actual performance that host is getting. So still running the FIO, getting about a little under 1 million IOPS, 3 gigabytes per second, at about 500 some microseconds of latency. I can go into my volumes here, and I'll just create a new volume just to show you how fun and easy it is.
So, Bill, these demonstrations are great when everything's going well and nice. It would be good to see somebody pulling a drive or two out whilst you're running, this, just to see how it all. I mean, obviously, it's a long way to run back to Tel Aviv to do it, but but that's the sort of thing that would be nice to see. What happens when things aren't running smoothly?
Yeah, and we could do that not in this context, but we have demonstrated that.
Right.
And,
Okay.
And yeah, that's
is
we
that
can
online?
pull a.
Are there videos online for that we can find?
Do
or
we
is
have any? Is that in?
No,
our-
we do have a
maintenance
maintenance
video?
operations video. We keep it, it's not on the public YouTube site, but it does show our controller failover.
Okay.
It shows drive failover as well as network
I
failover.
think it'd be nice to see that, because I think these are great, but most people would be worried when something goes wrong, and seeing that you can recover and that there's no blip, it just all carries on.
That's a
would
great
be a
point.
nice thing to see.
So if we are not running out of time at the end, I'll pull it up and we can.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so I created a new volume. I mapped it to Cartagena, the host, and so I'll go back in there and make this bigger. You can see that we now have two E8 block devices attached. So quick and painless. Just to go through the rest of the GUI, here's all our events. You can see volume added, map to host, attached to host, and then this is just the settings for the system. So now I'm going to go into the one. You can see the FIO winding down here. Okay, so you can see this. So we're running on 16 hosts in the recorded demo, and you can see this sort of nice stair step as each host. I think they start about 2 seconds apart, and so each one just increments the performance quite linearly until we get up to just a little over 10 million IOPS. And again, this is a 24 drive system. It's capable of 10 million IOPS, about 40 gigabytes per second maximum throughput. And obviously this is a small random read test.